No.
That brings us to the other trophy that's probably not that meaningful, but it is kind of funny because the individual's making a lot of noise. The Golden State Warriors have a very interesting player, Green. He's on podcast now. He likes chatting with everybody. He's always been a problem, if you will. He's kind of like wants to be Rodman. Has come out and said he is hands down the defensive player of the year for the Western Conference. And I kind of was like, I haven't thought about defensive player of the year for the Western Conference, but I don't even think he was in my top. But when you heard this, were you like, oh yeah, that makes sense?
It's hard to look past and hear past just Draymond Green being a big mouth. I mean, that guy thinks he's the greatest gift to basketball that the game has ever had, and I can't take him serious. So
high confidence. He's got a high confidence level. I have a probably a more interesting question for you. Green without Curry. What happens to him if he's not with Steve Kerr and he's not with Curry?
I'm trying to not be like just biased and a hater, because I want to be objective and fair. But I don't think it's rocket science to say that like Green is just not the player that he is now without being on those Golden State teams with Curry and Thompson and I think a case,
KD.
Yeah, KD. I think a case could be made that he's an important part specifically because of his defense and his toughness. A critical piece. Maybe they win less championships without him, but I think there's also a real world where if he got drafted by, I don't know, Detroit or Orlando or some team in the East that was not sniffing playoff appearances all those years, like he might have been a nice role player, but like he's not like changing your team. He's not making your team like a contender. And maybe he finds himself like as like a low key free agent signing on a contender at some point, and then we're like come to appreciate him like later in life. Like a lot of players, they're good, but they're not like superstars, and they play on bad teams, and so you don't really hear about them. And then suddenly, like a contender picks them up in a trade deadline trade, or just as a cheaper free agent signing, and wow, this player's like unlocked because they're playing with all these superstars now. Maybe that happens in an alternate universe, but no, I don't think Draymond Green is nearly as good as he thinks he is.
I don't think he's the defensive player this year, but if I looked at his career, my question, one of the things that I thought about was, do you know how you remember these players that were just problems for a team because they didn't feel the team was a good fit for them and they weren't going to make it to where they wanted to in their career or also the playoffs? So they made problems until they were traded. I feel like Green would have ended up at Golden State.
Okay.
Like, I feel like if it's one of those things that my dad always would tell me. He said, if everybody take away everybody's money and start from zero, the likelihood of the people with the money having the money again is very high.
Right.
Like, the people without the money will still be without the money, and the people with the money will go get the money.
Right.
There's just something about that. I feel like Green is in that like.
His nickname is Money Green.
But Steve Kerr is like, I can take care of this guy. I've played with Rodman. I can do this. And Steph Curry's like, we really need a tough guy. We need a guy with a mouth and things like that. So I could see like in my scenario of like the Matrix of like, if you're going to play like take it all away, bring it all back, I think Green finds himself on Golden State.
He finds that. I think you're right. Or like a team a team like that. Maybe even like a Cavs team, good Cavs.
Wouldn't that be
team.
interesting if he was with James?
Ooh.
Wouldn't that have been interesting? Because the two of them together would have been an interesting mix because James is so correct politically. Like he's just like he says the right thing at the right time. He's not Green. Green's crazy.
He probably could have kept him in check though.
That would be that's an interesting vibe. Like I could see Green playing with LeBron. I could see him ending up with Golden State.
But on the court, like that would have been a tough duo right there. As your 3 and your 4. Wow.
I would completely agree with you. Wow. And then because remember the Cavs when they beat Golden State, they had Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting dynamic to a team.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when everyone talks about the big three, they never talk about those like solid pieces you need. Like you needed a Green to win those championships.
So if I'm not mistaken, he was a second round pick or at least a high, maybe back end of the first round, like pick, like maybe like the.
Yeah, I can look that up while you.
I'm just so again. There's totally like a scenario here where I'm just a hater and I don't know what I'm talking about. That's fine. NBA insider, NBA idiot. I'm comfortable with either one. But do you think I'm off base by saying there is a world where if Draymond Green does get drafted at that place by a team that just is a perennial loser, that he's not even a household name to most people?
I mean, what's crazy is here's where we just have to kind of accept this. So he was a 35th pick in the second round to Golden State.
Okay. So I was right.
In that draft, you had Anthony Davis, number 1. Bradley Beal was number 3. Damian Lillard was 6. Andre Drummond was 9. And those are the big ones and then Draymond Green is the other big one in that draft. So to me, I think he ends up being himself. Like if you're drafted in the second round and this is the career he made himself, there's something to the fact that he did that.
Yeah.
Is he the defensive player of the year this year? I don't think so for the Western Conference. Is he still helpful to a team? Yeah, he can be. He certainly can be helpful to Golden State. Like I think he certainly is a piece. And again, Kerr's a great coach. So you have that dynamic. But I understand it's kind of how he adds salt to water sometimes or vinegar to the whole thing because of the way he speaks. But I would have a lot of pride if I was a second round pick that nobody bet on. And
it's true.
And then you're better than, I mean, if you think about it, 35th, and I just named 4 or 5 individuals.
You put it that way, and honestly, I definitely come off as a hater. He did just call out Kat for missing a game recently when Kat was attending to like a personal issue. So
I think he does those things to get in his head though, because I think there are certain players that I just think these players know what buttons to push when you get to play each other. And to try to get it, because that was the other thing is they were talking back and forth, and after the Knicks lost, he walked off, didn't want to shake anybody else's hand, and the Knicks were still shaking people's hands.
Yeah.
Like Green is okay. Green likes being hated.
He does.
Like he's okay with that.
Yeah.
And like as an old school NBA, like there's kind of
respect there, right?
There's kind of Detroit Piston kind of feeling about it,
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay if you hate me. Like, I got a job to do. My job is to get in your head, and if you miss a shot because I was in your head, I did the best ever.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
That's why, going back to our earlier conversation, we were like, Golden State, ooh, tough out. Green's one of the reasons why they're a tough out.
He's also probably like one of those guys that you hate to lose to. But, man, if he was on your team, he'd probably be like one of your favorite players.
Oh, I guarantee that. Absolutely. Like I was like, I think in the grand scheme of like nice people to lose to, like Elijah won, but his teammates that he was with, you wouldn't want to, you hated those guys.
Yes.
But like Elijah won, you're like, I can respect losing to him. Like a Tim Duncan, but like, I don't want to lose to Bruce Bowen.
No.
But like I can respect Tim Duncan, but no one ever goes, man, it was okay. We lost to Bruce. But Bruce had a job to do. He knew what his job was. He played his role really, really well. And there's something to be said about understanding that. Like I always call it and work when you work with people, like what's the pitch you want to hit? Let's put the ball where you want to hit it so you can hit a home run every time. I feel like Green found his niche and he just excelled in it. So I just feel like he would have found it no matter what, because if he found it as a second round pick, I think he would have found it in the NBA no matter where he went.
Fair enough. You make a compelling case.
There you go, Your Honor.